Hey YouTube, it's Marita from the Nurse Lounge, and today we are going to talk about something a little different. We have already discussed being burnt out and tips to deal with being burnt out at work as a nurse, but we have not talked about being burnt out as a student. So if you want to see or hear some tips that I have and hear my personal story of being burnt out, then stay tuned. All right, so we're gonna jump right in. I have taken some notes to keep me on track. So if you see me look down from time to time, that is what I'm doing. So basically the premise of this video is how to keep going when you're mentally drained. Yesterday myself, I experienced where I'm just kind of, well, not just yesterday, but in general. In case you do not know, I guess I'll give you the backstory. I am a second year doctoral student. I'll be finished with the second year next month, and I'll begin my third year in August. And if you recall back to high school, you know, what they call senioritis, well, that's kind of what I have. And that's kind of what a lot of students have when they get towards the middle to the end of their programs. They have what we would call senioritis, or that feeling in which you're kind of like mentally drained, you're done, you're not as motivated, you're not, and sometimes it's not about whether you're making good grades or not. I'm making very good grades, but I am mentally drained. I have to push myself to read, force myself to study. I find that I'm beginning to procrastinate more than I used to. If something is due, let's just say, usually our assignments are due on a Saturday night at midnight. I may not, depending on the assignment, not even submit it until 11 o'clock at night or something like that. And typically I'm one who has something done pretty early. So for example, today we have an assignment that is not due till the 29th, which is Saturday at midnight, but I submitted it today at 3 o'clock because I already had it done. That's how I usually am. But sometimes I'll wait to the last minute, and that's really not a good thing because you could have, technical difficulties with your computer, or just the lights could go out. We had a storm yesterday, so the lights could go out and you can't submit on time, and that's no excuse for that. So we're going to talk about some ways in which you can basically stay encouraged in your journey and understand that this too shall pass and that you will make it just fine, but this is just part of the process. And so in order to get through the process, sometimes you have those days, moments, weeks where you're just kind of like, I'm really not feeling this at all. I'm not feeling this program at all. I'm not feeling school at all. Why did I even do this? Why are we doing this? Why am I putting myself through why am I putting myself through this and my family through this? So I have some tips for you as to what you can do to help you get back on track, and hopefully come out the other end accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish. So the first thing I have is create you a vision board. Creating a vision board, sometimes people do that at the beginning of a year as part of their New Year's resolution. And so with vision boards, it basically has, your goals, but usually in picture form. And so maybe you need to put a picture on there, if you have not already, of a cap and a gown. Or if nothing else, put the date of graduation on your vision board. But basically, in addition to that, put your goals around it. So if you're wanting a new house, if you're wanting that vacation, if you're wanting a new car, if you're wanting that dream job, put pictures on your vision board and look at that vision board every single day. And especially the days in which you're having a bad day where you're like, I'm really not feeling this. I find that those things would really help you get to where you want to go and kind of get you re-energized, if you will, to basically get back on track. Number two is graduation date. So, there's those apps on your phones that basically it does a countdown for you. You can do countdowns for vacations, for graduation, for different things. So if you basically get you a graduation app, you can basically, put that on your phone and you can kind of see the countdown as to how long it's going to be for graduation. And so every so often take time to look at that app so you can see, okay, well, I am less than a year away from graduation. And then that way it can kind of help you, get back on track, when you've lost motivation. Number three is support groups. I call them support groups, but they may not be called that. So on Facebook, as an example, I'm a part of a doctoral support group, or a group of people who are either thinking about it, who are pursuing it, or who have already achieved the doctoral degree in nursing. And so this group is a group in which we can ask questions to those who may have experienced different things. We can even say, hey, I'm not feeling motivated anymore. Can anybody give me some advice? And actually that was one of the postings on there this week. And that's kind of what encouraged me to actually do this video, is because of the fact that we do, get discouraged from time to time. And so then people just chimed in and basically just told, I think it was her, kind of what to do and ways to get through it and push through. You got this, and just words of encouragement. And that's really, really what you need. So just be mindful that you're going to have those days where this is not going to be what you really want to do, or so you think. And groups like that, support groups, as I call them, on Facebook, on Instagram, or things within your classmates, whatever you have to say, okay, come on, let's push through, let's push through, let's push through. Along those lines, I have me at what I call an accountability partner. So a classmate of mine, we kind of text back and forth. We don't really talk much unless we're in class, but we text back and forth to basically say, hey, I'm working on my discussion forum, and I've read chapters 1 through 3. And then she'll text back and say, okay, I'm doing the same. I've already did that. I'm actually working on this, that, and the other. And so it kind of basically pushes both of us to kind of keep up and keep pace with the course. Or did you know we have an assignment due on such and such a day? And you're like, oh no, I didn't know that. Or any tidbit of news I find out when the grades get released, I, text her, say the grades are released for this assignment. So that lets her know things. And it just kind of helps, support one another in this process so that she knows exactly what to do. And so do I when it comes to this program. The next one I have is reflect on how far you have come. So when you are going through your moments and you think that, woe is me, I still have another year or two to go, or this is only my first semester, think about what it took to get to where you are now. Think about the things that you've went through. Think about this was a dream of yours at one point in time. At one point in time, you were praying to get into this program. And, maybe you did not get in the first time, or maybe just for maybe financial reasons, you couldn't go the first time that you wanted to go, or maybe you had a baby, or maybe you had a breakup or divorce, whatever the reason as to why, you couldn't do what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. But look where you are now. You are in the program that you wanted to be in. And as a result, you're struggling, but it's a good thing because you're not where you were. So reflect back on the fact that, I did ask for this. I did pray for this. This is the thing that I really wanted to do, if that is your case. And just be mindful of that. And you're kind of like, okay, that kind of gets you regrouped at times like this where you're feeling like, I'm not really feeling this at all. All right. So the next one is look at your previous degrees. So for me, it was a moment in which I'm kind of like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I can't believe I signed up for this doctoral program. I am about 11 months out from graduation, so I really can't turn back now. But why am I putting myself through this is kind of why I, my thought process, especially on yesterday. I was having a moment yesterday. So then I'm actually in the process of reframing my degrees anyway. So I took them out of the old frame because I'm actually getting a special frame for the doctoral degree next year. So I said, well, let me go ahead and redo these frames, reframe them, so that the 3 of them will match the new one when I get it. So it really it really took me back to the place of where I was, kind of reflecting, if you think about it, to when I received those degrees and how great I felt when I got those degrees. And so as a result of that, that kind of pumped me up a little bit, at least yesterday, pumped me up a little bit to go ahead and read the chapter that I needed to read in terms of getting my assignment done that I did submit today. And so I wanted to show you those degrees. And before I reframe them, I am not in any way trying to brag about anything. If anybody knows me, I'm not really one to boast or brag, but it is what it is. I did accomplish these degrees and I worked very, 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 very hard for those. And I did a lot of it as a single parent, not all of it, but a lot of it as a single parent, just determined to, you know, do the best for me and my kids. So I wanted to show you or share with you those degrees. And so I went to a school in Tennessee, and I have, in case you don't know, I do have 3 degrees already. My first degree I received looks like this, and I'm not sure if it's going to show. So basically this is a degree that I got back in 2002. As you can see, I have my bachelor's degree in, it's a Bachelor of Science. I actually have my first degree in psychology, and my minor was secondary education. At that point in time, I think I wanted to be a psychologist, but I didn't know how much more extensive schooling you had to have. That's just me being young and dumb at that point. But nonetheless, before I decided to go into nursing, I did, you know, get this degree and said, okay, I'm gonna take what I've learned from this degree and apply it to nursing. So again, this is my degree, my Bachelor of Science in Psychology that I received in 2002. And then after that, I realized that that degree wasn't going to do anything, like I told you. So I pursued nursing, which is here we are. So in 2004, so just 2 years later, I received my Bachelor of Science in nursing. So I'm trying to make sure you can see it. So that's what that looks like right here. I received that in 2004, and that was a very proud moment for me. No one in my family is a nurse, and I don't even know really how I guess it was just God, really, because I don't even know why I pursued nursing. It was not like, oh, well, I do know why I pursued nursing is because I had my baby and I thought that was great what they were doing. But it's not like I had someone in my family who was a nurse or someone who, you know, a mentor that's like, oh, I think I want to do what she's doing. It was never nothing like that. So going from a degree in psychology, and then during that semester, I graduated in May of 2002, and to get into nursing school, I had to have 3 sciences that I was missing for my prereqs for nursing. I was missing chemistry, 2 chemistry classes, and a micro and their labs. And from the summer of 2002 of May till August or till July or something like that, I did 3 science classes, 2 chemistry classes, their labs, and a microbiology and its lab for me to be admitted fully into the nursing program, which I did. Like I said, I finished that in 2004. And then I became nurse. I actually got my nursing license July 30th, I want to say, of 2004 is when I became licensed as a registered nurse. And so I worked for about a year and realized I hated nursing. It's not what they told us it was in nursing school. But I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do since I spent so much time, energy, and money into this program, and I had 2 little girls at the time. So I basically applied for my master's program. So when I did get sick and tired of being a nurse, I could easily move into, or a bedside nurse, I could easily move into something else. So in 2005, I applied, or actually started my master's degree. And in 2008, yes, it took me 3 years, I received my master's degree. Is this the right one? Oh, no, I showed you the wrong one. So, hold on. Oh, yeah, I didn't put it down. All right, so sorry about that. So in 2008, yes, I received my Master of Science. Let's see if you can see it. In nursing, And my specialty is nursing education. So again, I received my Master of Science in nursing 2008 in December. I was 20 weeks or about 5 months pregnant with my son at the time. And so I finished this degree very pregnant, and that's pretty much it. So then I've been working as a nurse educator since then, since 2008, no, since 2005. Actually, let me start when I was trying to get my master's program. So I've been an educator for over, so 2015 made 10 years plus 4. So 14 years I have been working as a nurse educator. And I still do work as a bedside nurse PRN at the hospital. So, you know, I look at these degrees and I'm like, wow, you know what, you've accomplished so much. And sometimes I feel like I still haven't accomplished anything. But, you know, that's just kind of where I am at the moment. You know, when I reflect back to these degrees, I look, so if you have a high school diploma, look at that diploma, because you have something that some people don't even have. If you have an associate's degree in something, look at that associate's degree. You have something that some people don't even have. If you have a degree in something else, it wasn't nursing. Maybe you were, you know, in communications or criminal justice or a teacher or whatever you happen to be. You have a degree in something else. Or you have a diploma or a certificate from a technical program. Look at that and reflect on that, because at that point in time, that's who you were. That's who you wanted to be at that point in time. But you have still come so far to get to where you are today. And look back on your accomplishments. If they were out here handing out degrees, everybody would have one. And as you know, they don't hand out degrees. So you have to pay for them, and you have to attend school. So you've accomplished something if you've accomplished something. I mean, if you've accomplished, you've accomplished something if you already have a degree that reflects the time and energy and effort that you put into something. So definitely look back at those degrees. If you have them hanging on the wall, make sure they're somewhere visible where you can see them, so you can look up and say, yes, I did that. Sometimes that will kind of kick you back into gear. My next one I said is take a break or do something fun. So if you are due for a vacation and you can take one, take a vacation. If it's time for you to have a girls' night and you need to go and have some, you know, some drinks or have a good time with your friends, go do that. Sometimes you have to step away from the situation and, you know, kind of let your mind go and do other things, and then regroup and then come back to what you had planned to do. So definitely take the time to do that if that's what you need to do. Have you some fun, get yourself back together, and then get back into those books if that's what you need to do. The next one is remember why you started. You started for a certain reason. There's a reason why you wanted to become a nurse, or, you know, or be master's prepared or doctoral prepared, whatever your situation is, or be a CNA. Maybe that was going to be your entry point, or be a LPN. There's a reason why you wanted to do this profession. Go back to that point in time and say, okay, what is it? Why did I want to do this again? And if it's for the right reasons and you still feel that same way, remember that. Tack that onto your vision board. That way you can have a visual of why you wanted to do this. Maybe you want to get your kids out of a certain situation. Put that on your vision board. Write that. Write your affirmations down, so you'll say, okay, you know what? I am someone. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be fine. I'm just going through a moment. And, you know, it is what it is. But you have to push through. The next one is the opposite of why you started. Think about your future. So when it comes to, you know, nursing specifically, why did you want to become a nurse again? And what is that new picture is going to look like for you? What is your future going to look like? Does it mean you're going to have financial stability? Does it mean you're going to have the job of your dreams? Does it mean that you have opportunities for advancement? What is your future going to look like if you keep on pushing through to school? What is your future going to look like if you decide to quit right now? And I'm not talking about the circumstances that's beyond your control, like you have to step out or you have to quit because of a family situation. You have to quit because of you know, life. Just life happens. I'm not really talking about those issues because that's something totally separate. I'm talking about just that mental drainage that you have, mental, you know, that mental funk that you have, that I do not want to do this anymore. I'm tired of getting up every day at 4 a.m. to do clinicals. I'm tired of care plans. I'm tired of papers. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. Those are the people I'm really talking to. The ones who are having a life situation, you kind of have to get through that life situation to kind of regroup and come back. And some people are actually able to go through the life situation and still somehow maintain their standards and their good grades in school. So, kudos to you if that's what you're able to do. I'm typically not like that. So, that's good for you. But what would your future look like if you did not do this? Or what would your future look like if you did do this? The next one I put on here is look at your children. So if you do have children, look at your children because they're looking at you. And just today, I asked my son to get a book for me, one of my textbooks, and it's the Doctor of Nursing Practice book. And he said, "Oh, you're going to be a nurse doctor," is what he called it. And I said, "Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to be." So he's paying attention. He said, "I'll be so glad when you're done." I said, "Won't we both?" Because I finished in less than a year. And so they watch what you do. They watch and they see how important school is to you and education is to you. And they look and see the struggle that you made. And therefore, when they grow up, they'll remember, most of them will remember that. My oldest daughter is 21 years old. And she often tells me that when people ask her, who are you inspired by? She often tells them that I'm her mom, that she's inspired by me because I have went through so much trying to make sure that they had the things that they need. I went through so much trying to make sure that I went to school, even if I struggled, even if I dropped classes, even if I failed classes, which I have. I've failed classes before. Not at the graduate level, but definitely in the undergraduate level. I failed classes so much. And so I had all kinds of F's and D's and things like that. And so just trying to go to school to be cute and not really focused on what I need to be focused on. And I had to pay the consequences to those. And anyway, I eventually got my life together and, here we are. But she definitely tells that story of, my mom is my biggest inspiration because of what she's been through. And no matter what, she still overcame, and here we are. So your children do watch you. Even if they're 4 and 5 years old, they will emulate and do the things that you do. So if they see you getting books and reading and studying, then they will, in their pretend play, they will get books and pretend like they're studying or pretend like they're doing things. They are watching you. So definitely, if nothing else, remember, look at your children because they're looking at you. The last thing I have on here, and you're kind of like, well, why would you have that on there? But you'll see, is think about your haters. So you're like, your haters, why would you even care what they think? It's not that you care about what they think. For me, I'm a Taurus, so nothing else, satisfies me but to prove you wrong. So all the naysayers or people who, who had something negative to say, like, "Oh, you're not going to be successful at that," or "You're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, you failed a class, you this, you that, or that program is hard, that's why you're struggling, and maybe you're not cut out to be," that's the one I always get, "Maybe you're not cut out to be have a doctoral degree." Don't you know, for me personally, that is the biggest motivation. I'm like, "Oh, okay. All right." I said, "Okay." And those are people that, believe it or not, they motivate me just as much as the supporters do. I have a lot of support. People telling me to keep going, push through, you're going to be fine. People who I don't even know personally. And honestly, I have more support from people that I don't know personally than I do from people that I do know. And that's kind of sad if you think about it, but that is my reality. More people that I know or don't know support me and keep me encouraged better than the people who that I do know. A lot of people that I do know are some of the haters that I'm referring to. And so I actually use them as fuel. I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to do good. I'm like, okay, so let me go ahead and make an A on this paper. Let me go ahead and make an A on this, make an A on that. And, class by class, I'm pushing through. I really appreciate the negativity. That sounds kind of like, why would you even say that? I'm not a person who gets really offended by things like that, because if you tell me negative things about me pursuing school, that's a reflection of you. The psychology degree did teach me that. That's a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of me. If you're not happy for someone who is bettering themselves, then you have an issue, not the person themselves. So I use that as fuel to kind of give me the ammo that I need to say, you know what? They over here hating. Let me show them how, you know, that it can be done and that I can do it. Let me show them that someone who was a single parent who had 2 children out of wedlock, since that's a big deal here in the South, or maybe everywhere, I don't know. But, you know, who's African American, who's a woman, who's basically a statistic, who was on welfare, who had a roach infested apartment at one point in time until we got it under control, who had a ceiling falling in, who had lived in a building that was not in code, who had cars that break down, who had a baby's daddy that did not, and continuously, the girls are now 21 and 18 and still do not pay child support because he is in arrearage. She owes money, and still made it happen. That's the kind of person I am. Those are the kind of people I'm like, you know what? I appreciate the hate, the negativity, because it keeps me fueled. It helps me prove to you of what I can do. And so anyway, these are just a few of the tips that I have. They are not all inclusive. So there are more things that I'm sure you all could think that could get you back on track when you are falling off, so to speak. Definitely reach out to people who will encourage you, because sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, and that wasn't on there, but sometimes you just need somebody to talk to about what's going on. So definitely reach out to people. Even reach out to me if you all have, and I've had a lot of people reach out to me on my IG or on here on YouTube about, you know, they're feeling certain kind of ways or what should you do about a certain situation. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to reach out to me and say, hey, I am really feeling burnt out. I'm tired. And the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is keep pushing. Keep pushing. Sometimes I'm in a situation where I can't think about next week because I can't even figure out today. That's normal. Just know that's normal. And sometimes it's not even a day by day. Sometimes you're taking things minute by minute. That's okay. So don't get overwhelmed with nursing school. Nursing school is very hard. Graduate school is very hard. Any professional program, whether it be dentistry, dental hygiene, law, medicine, nursing, obviously, being a teacher, education is very difficult because it's a professional program. This is not like going to English 101 class where you're learning, you know, about Dante's Inferno or whatever. I think that was in a 2011 course, but whatever it happens to be, this is not like a class like that. This is a professional program. So by design and by default, it's meant to weed out the ones who are not that great. It is meant to be rigorous. It's meant to be difficult because at the end of the day in nursing, you need to know what you're doing and you need to critically think. So it will take your mind for a whirl spin. It will be overwhelming, but you got this. You will succeed. You will graduate. And if you fail a class, so what? Fail the class. Don't fail the class, but if you fail the class, have your pity party. I'm not telling you not to cry, not be upset. Have your pity party. Go through the emotions. That's the biggest thing people don't do. Go through your emotions. Go through it. Once you get through the emotions, then sit down and figure out what is it that I didn't do correctly. Where can I have room for improvement at? Where can I have room for improvement at? Is it my study habits? Was I doing a little bit too much partying? Did I not ask enough questions? Do I sit in the front of the class or do I sit in the back of the class? Am I texting all the time? Am I even listening? Am I reading ahead of time the lecture material? So, you know, it's okay that sometimes things don't work out exactly how you plan for them to work out. However, stay on track, stay the course, remember who's watching you. And, you know, and you got this. Like I said, you will graduate. You will, if you are determined, you're resilient. You want this so bad that you'll die for it. Not literally, but it's something that you have to have. You are hungry. That's the word I want to use. You are hungry for it. You will succeed. And I'm preaching to myself as well as to you all when I say that these programs are some of the hardest programs that you will ever endure. You will have times in which you feel like, I cannot do this, or I don't want to do this. But you must take the good with the bad. And again, if you have to cry, cry. If you have to scream, scream. If you just have to take a break, but just get back on track. So that pretty much concludes this video. If you have any questions or concerns, leave comments below. I will have my email down below. Feel free to follow me on IG. The links are in the YouTube banner for my IG pages. Feel free to go over there and you can ask a question or DM me and ask a question over there as well if that's what you choose to do. But until the next time, you all Take care. Bye-bye.
Let it loose, let it go in a wave.